Yeah, my
When
life.
people try to make me feel like I'm just not worthy.
Right.
I'm just beneath them. Oh, I'm right there with you. Like, you cracking jokes, and then I come when they just look like, oh no, this bitch didn't. Yes, this bitch did.
But then you think, and you think about the actions of, people sometimes, and you be like, well, damn, what made them react like that, or what even made them do that? Especially if it's somebody and you like, well, damn, when did all that happen? This person was completely happy and everything was good in their life, and then what triggered the madness? Like, what triggered this person to go kill all these people? What triggered this person to go shoot up the school?
I hate we didn't know that existed in this person. You know what I mean? Maybe it was something that they had been talking about the whole time, but we overlooked it. I mean, when I say this whole psychology thing is on a whole nother level, so when you meet somebody or you talk to somebody, sometimes do you really know who you talking to? You get what I mean? What could you possibly say to that person that can trigger them to just go to the whole left? Like, you just killed the whole building. What the fuck we do?
Right.
What did we do?
You got a man in Florida. Killed this whole family. Wife, son. Her, his friend or somebody. Another woman. Like, why did he do this?
You know what the fucked up part about it is, though? To me,
what triggered that shit?
When I'm looking at these cases and I see these things on the news, whatever, court TV, whatever it is I'm watching to get the gossip, to get the good stuff, the information, the vital information.
Right.
Don't you know? Most of them never have an explanation. Real talk. Have you so what drove you to do what it was you felt like you needed to do? A lot of them don't be having explanations.
They really don't. I mean, at least, like the guy out here, they killed the homeless people, the 3 homeless people. And the dog.
At least I'm gonna say this. At least he said, I knew it was wrong, but it had to be done.
But listen, he had an explanation and everything. And they said that he was mentally incapable. But he had an explanation. So, I mean, shit.
A mentally incapable person
but
had an explanation.
What was his
We're
triggers,
talking about full-blown, well-known, you in your right mind, you are sane. You don't have an explanation.
Exactly.
I'm going to say this. Maybe it's kind of off the subject. The 5 Memphis officers, there still haven't been a point. What did you pull them over for?
And, that's a big thing, too. Why is it our own people, that makes it harder on their own? Like what would have triggered them to do some shit like that?
You thought you was going to get brownie points for that?
Well, my whole thing is this.
Y'all niggas is fuckery.
My whole thing is this. The police is itself. It's not about black, white, none of that. When you're dealing with the police, now what I'm seeing more is them against us. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what makes me upset when we talk about Black Lives Matter and you do this to your own.
Well, we still got a lot of that happening though.
Period.
It's
all over
it's our own family and our own friends and
that's the shit that be getting just gets me. Like, if we gonna be something, if you gonna say something, if we gonna be a part of a movement, let's do it the correct way. Let's do it all from 100% of our heart.
If we gonna stand for something, shit, let's stand for it for real. And we also gotta lead by example.
Because apart we're divided, but together we are so strong.
Right.
And I just don't get it. So what was the trigger for the shit that y'all did? Like, for real?
Well, you never know what the situation is. Like I said, people are triggered, and officers. I know it's some things that they might be triggered by too, like being called a pig, or
say this,
a sellout, or
officers at this point now, don't use your badge or hide behind your badge, behind a simple trigger, because you're held to a different standard than us civilians. Stop playing. Like, I'm not gonna play no games with them. Like, y'all are held on a whole nother standard to us civilians.
Right.
So at the end of the day, we'll get sentenced for some shit you'll get let off for.
But what I just want to understand, what is the laws, and who are supposed to be following the laws? Is it all of us, or is it just us, and they just do what they want to do?
It's up to us. I'll tell you, everyone who's listening, it's up to us. Know the law. It's okay to go to the library.
Yeah, but like,
read
okay,
up on some shit.
Look at this though. Okay, so tell me this. If somebody intrude in my house and then they go to run out and I shoot them as they running out, shoot them in the back. Once. Just once. Why am I in trouble?
Right.
But the police can just shoot you. Running in full running, trying to evade them, trying to get away. But they can shoot. And then they say, well, what triggered? Or, well, I was afraid for my life. How? Now, I can't go into court and say, well, I was afraid for my life.
Right.
If I shoot somebody in the back.
Right.
So it's just confusing to me, because I'm not sure, who's supposed to be following these laws. And who are the laws made for? Is it just made for the poor people?
Talk about that. What's the trigger?
I'm trying to figure it out. Because, to my understanding, everybody bound by the same rules, right?
No.
Everybody have to follow.
I'm gonna say
no.
no.
I mean, they supposed to follow the same laws.
Supposedly.
I mean, can they drive drunk? I mean, do they get away with driving drunk?
They get away with a whole lot of shit.
Man, they get away with murder.
I pass by them, they be on the phone.
They get away with murder.
But we get pulled over for that very thing.
But they can shoot you just because they told you to get out the car and you didn't get out the car.
And this is why I said before, if you read up on it and then you start talking to an officer and you know the law, guarantee they start backing up. Once you know the law,
right?
Read up on it. That's why I said take the time.
Right.
Read up on. You can Google anything. Google shit. Real talk. Once you know the law and you start talking to an officer in their language,
right?
I promise you, they low key step back.
Yeah. And I've been there. I had that happen to me at Smith's.
They will step back.
And I was at Smith's, like in the Smith's for like a whole hour. And mind you, I'm buying like $400 worth of groceries. But it was my fault because I tried to go through. It wasn't $400. It was probably like $200 worth of stuff. But I tried to go through the self checkout. So I'm ringing hella shit up.
Got a gang of shit.
I get down to the last thing. And the computer already had kept tripping. The bitch had to come over there like 3 times to reset the computer.
Right.
So I'm like, dang, but I'm done now. Then she gonna say, excuse me, we're gonna have to take everything over here like I was stealing. or something. Like I
Right.
hadn't rung up everything. So I'm already like, okay. But now I'm kind of offended though. Because I'm like, you accusing me of stealing. You know, I just got off from work.
Too.
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
just trying to make groceries, go home.
Right.
I feel you.
So we go to the other lane or whatever, so they can ring it all up they sell. So I'm like, okay, now mind you, this taking even more time. The food just sitting out now. It's just, you know what I'm saying, spoiling. It'd have been a minute.
Right.
So I'm like, listen, all I need to know is shit. I need at least 10% up off of this food. You know what I'm saying? If I rung up everything, because you know what I'm saying.
Sitting here
y'all embarrassed me, and not only that, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
I had all my stuff rung up already.
Right. My integrity is on the line at this point.
Right.
Like, you serious?
So, you know, I just felt like I should get something. So they rung it up, whatever. They acted like they was giving me something off. So, but during this time, they hadn't already called the police. What they called the police for, I don't know, because I wasn't really making a big scene. So, the police, as I'm walking out, I had already paid for the stuff, but I'm looking at my receipt, and I'm like, you know, I don't see no discount. You know, matter of fact, yeah, I ain't see the discount, and I went back, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought y'all was giving me a discount. And they was like, that's when they called the police. And I was like, matter of fact, start putting the food, you know, leaving the food or whatever. And they ain't want to even get my money back, nothing. But the police came. And, you know, they talking to me, trying to ask me what's my name. I'm like, what you mean, what's my name? You know what I'm saying? I don't have to tell you nothing. I'm not committing no crime.
Period.
Excuse me, am I stealing? Was I caught stealing in here, or no, everything's good. Okay,
So
thank
why
you.
is the police in my
So,
motherfucking
exactly.
face?
I'm like, so what do you need? We need to know what. You don't need to know what my name is. I'm not committing no crime.
Period.
Well, we were called. Well, like I said, am I stealing? Y'all good, right? All right. So he like, well, you know, man, we just want to know. I'm like, look, you wasting my motherfucking time. I haven't committed no crime. I don't have to tell you what my name is. And you need to get up out my way. But
Period.
long story short, you know, they got the fuck up out my way. And you know, at that time, you know, I'm like, hell no. I got to get my money back because the food spoiled.
Right.
This was an extra 30 minutes
Right.
just talking to these stupid ass people. For what? Just
Period.
because I got to tell you my name. I don't have to tell you anything.
But see, that's the thing. A lot of people don't know. They'll just give up some information. Know your laws.
Right.
Just the basic ones. I promise you it'll take you a long way. Know your laws. Because, like you said, am I stealing? Did I steal? Like,
Yeah.
what? Basically, why are these motherfuckers in my face?
But that's what triggered me. Just the fact of them telling me that I was, you know, acting like I was stealing. So everybody looking at me like I was stealing.
But how am I acting like I'm stealing? I brought everything to the goddamn... You see what I'm saying? Bullshit. Bullshit.
And I'm like, you sat here and watched me ring up everything. You wait until it get to the last item.
Like I said, that's some bullshit.
So that told me they was just sitting there waiting for me to ring this shit up just to see if I stole something. Because soon as I finished ringing it up, it was
and
like...
then, when they really went through all of that...
Right.
To see if you stole something.
I hadn't stole nothing.
You see what I mean? And they went that above and beyond. That would trigger me too, boo-boo.
Right. I'm like, if it's the same
like,
amount...
y'all motherfucking serious?
Right. Like if it's the same amount,